Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Bryon Wilfert, Member of Parliament for Richmond Hill. This is Pasargadtv. I am delighted to speak with you today about a number of issues, particularly at the local level. I have been leading the charge with regard to the David Dunlap Observatory, which, as many of you know, was created in 1935 on land that was the University of Toronto. It was sold last year to Metros Development Corporation. This is a real jewel, not only locally, but nationally. And I have been fighting to have it declared a national historic site. And if you go to Bryonwilfert.ca, there is an online petition in support of having this site made a national historic site. In order to do that, the owner, which is Metros, needs to allow the National Historic Sites and Monuments Board to come and do an evaluation of the property. I am very confident that, in fact, evaluation were to be done, that we would get recognition. I've also been working with Canada Post, and I'll be soon announcing a very special cancellation with regard to the David Dunlap Observatory in recognition not only of the observatory, which of course is where the first black hole in space was discovered in 1972, but this is also the International Year for Astronomy. So again, this is a very important event. Over the summer, I've met with many seniors organizations and seniors at various seniors' homes across the riding. And I've talked to them about issues ranging from healthcare issues, delivery of services, and pensions. In a very difficult economic time, it is important that those pensions be there for our seniors. And again, getting information from them, relaying it back to government has been very, very important. Attending events, I have been recently named as an honorary director for Opera York, a very important organization which does a lot of outreach to schools across York Region in terms of bringing opera to people. And it's now going to be housed at the Richmond Hill Performing Arts Center, which again is a real coup for us to have an organization of this quality. Verdi, Wagner, other pieces have been performed by them, Rigoletto as an example. And so I'm very pleased to be named as an honorary director. Over the summer as well, I've spoken out on human rights issues, both in Iran and attending a North Korean refugee human rights forum recently to talk about the plight of North Koreans and their inability to be recognized, certainly by China, for their political repression that occurs in North Korea, and to seek asylum. And in fact, the United Nations High Commissioner on Refugees has not been able to perform work because of the view that China does not view these as political refugees, but as economic, and sends them back to often certain death in North Korea. Over the summer as well, I have been very pleased to announce 3 major infrastructure programs. Over $10 million has come to Richmond Hill in the area of road reconstruction, parks, development, and in terms of the Richmond Hill Co-op, where we were able to provide monies to assist in the environmental area for new windows and siding, etc. A lot of you have asked me about the home renovation tax credit, up to $1,300. I want to assure you that both I and the Liberal Party support that, but also to assure you that Revenue Canada already treats it as if it's already been passed. The government has, in fact, until March 2010 to pass it, but there's no question that this program will be supported, and there is no need for concern with regard to that because, again, Revenue Canada treats it as it's already been adopted. And if the government introduces a Ways and Means motion in the House of Commons, a Ways and Means motion is only to either bring in a new tax or to, in fact, increase taxes. So the notion that somehow we would need such a motion is, in fact, false, because this tax renovation credit is a reduction, not an increase, which will be good for Canadians. But being concerned about your pensions, be concerned about your investments, concerned about your mortgages means that we need to continue to work collaboratively to push forward an agenda which deals with the real issues. We have a deficit now which is continuing to soar, and continue to soar if you look at all 3 orders of government, over $1 trillion. But in terms of the national deficit, we're now at least $60 billion and counting. That is of great concern, particularly to one who was a former parliamentary secretary to two ministers of finance. And of course, it was the Liberal government that eliminated the $42.5 billion deficit with the help and the strong support of Canadians in the 1990s. We need to get back to a non-deficit situation as quickly as possible. And we need to, again, with the G20 meetings coming up, have a strong voice, work with our colleagues from other countries in ensuring a global, effective response to the current economic situation. As Canadians, we can certainly take pride in the fact that we have a strong banking system in Canada, something that the previous government worked hard to maintain when Citibank came and the Citibank model, where banks came and said, we want to be like them and merge. We oppose that. And therefore, we haven't had one bank failure in Canada since the 1920s. And again, we have become the envy of the world because of that. It's important for you as you enter the fall season to know that I, as your Member of Parliament, will continue to communicate through my response newsletters, will continue to be there for you to listen, particularly to your concerns, and to respond accordingly. The House of Commons is a forum for debate, but it's also a forum for legislation. And we will certainly do our best to ensure that your needs and your concerns are addressed. Again, thank you very much for listening.